Welcome back to another episode on Sew Simone. I'm Simone and I am sharing my journey as a very beginner sewist. Like, I've literally made 3 pieces before. Today we are going to be making a DIY baby doll dress, and I'm actually going to be following the video tutorial from Jess Dang. So I will link that below if you're looking for this exact pattern. But basically I have decided to go with this beautiful olive green baby cotton fabric. I think it's just going to be so chic and beautiful and flowy. If I've got any leftover fabric, I'm definitely going to be making a matching bandana for our cheeky boy Ted. I think the very first step today will be to take all my measurements and then we'll get into cutting the pieces. So to start off with, we're going to be focusing on the top part of the dress, so the front bodice, the back bodice and the sleeves. After I went and took those measurements that I just showed you guys, I went and drew myself a little pattern so I know exactly what I'm going to be doing. So I don't have a lot of equipment yet because I really am a complete beginner, but I'm just going to make it work with this old measuring tape which I've literally had since primary school. It literally has my name engraved on it. My dad used to engrave all of my stationery, so this guy's been with me for many years. I've just got this small 15cm ruler and just a plain pen, just a regular pen. I don't have any of those fancy tailor things just yet, but that is okay. We are starting slow. As my mom-in-law would say, poco a poco le entra agua al coco, which means little by little the coconut fills up with water, which means little by little we'll get there, step by step. I wonder if I should be using a pencil. Oh yeah, the pencil shows up, that's better. I've cut out all of the rectangles needed for the top part of the dress. So we've got 2 pieces for the back bodice, we've got 4 pieces for the front bodice, and then we've got our sleeve. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking these very basic rectangles, all of it is just rectangles at this point, and I'm going to be making like the shaping for the neck and the shoulders. So 15, 16, 18. Okay, so 18 would be my center point. I want to measure 3 centimeters down. Okay, and basically I'm going to just be connecting them to make a triangle. Ted, my love, what you doing? That's rude. He's licking his bolas. I would show this to you guys on the camera, but honestly I can barely see it with my own eyes. I'm having to squint. More or less, yes, okay, we did it. So now I've got 2 pieces that look like that. Not bad. Okay, so that's the back bodice done. These are going to be the 2 front bodice pieces, but now because I forgot to press record, I'm just going to have to explain to you guys how I did this. I measured from the end to 9 centimeters, which is half of my neck measurements, and then I measured 2 centimeters down, and then on the other side of the rectangle I measured 7 centimeters down, which is the measurement I got from the top of my shoulder to the start of my collarbone. I think it's going to look something like this, which is very cool. See, this is where I run into the problem with not having a long ruler. Okay, let's see, this might be a bit better than my ruler. Freehand a little bit. Now we're going to be sewing the front bodice pieces together. So now I'm just going to sew from the bottom to this mark that I just made. Okay, so this is the effect that we've got going so far, and it's going to end up looking something like that. Okay, so everything that I had sewn, I literally had to unpick everything because I did it wrong. What I had originally shown you was I had sewn all 4 of the bodice pieces together, when in actuality what I should have done is 2 and then 2. Piece number 1, and I'm going to be repeating that with the second one. So we've got one of the back bodice pieces, and then I'm taking the one of the front bodice pieces, and I'm going to be sewing along the shoulders. Cheeky boy just got home from his walk. Oh, he's coming to say hi. Hi, my bumps. Did you have a good walk, my bumps? So this is the front bodice, the back bodice. So now we're just going to line these up, and what we're focusing on now is attaching the neckline and this little V-neck. So it's this and around and here. Starting at the seam over here so that everything lines up nicely. Alright, this is the moment of truth. Let's see what happened here. Okay, I genuinely do not know what is going on here. Huh? What in the world? Where would my head go? I literally do not know what is going on here. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap it up for the evening. Perhaps I didn't do it wrong. Perhaps I just can't figure out how to... No, I don't know. It's definitely wrong. So we are back. It is a brand new day. My brain is refreshed. I went and had a look at the sewing tutorial because I was like, no ways, I know that I sewed this right, and I did in fact sew it correctly. I just couldn't figure out how to turn it the right way around. But because I know that it's right, before we go ahead and turn it the right way around, yes, my lumps, I'm just going to be making little incisions around the neckline so it lays nice and flat. My bumps, I need my hands, if that's okay with you. Go ask your dad. Being super cautious to make sure I don't catch any of my seams. That would be disastrous. So now this is the trick that I couldn't figure out until I did figure it out. So you've got the wrong sides facing out. In order to successfully turn it the right way around, what you want to do is take one of the back pieces and put it through the neck hole. And then you want to take one of the front pieces and put it through the neck hole. And then you can grab your shoulder seams. Okay, you see where we're getting at here. Obviously I need to push things through. Press. Okay, so we've got something that kind of looks like something. What I'm going to do before we move on to the sleeves is I'm just going to be doing a zigzag stitch the whole way around and on the back, and then we're moving on to the sleeves, and then I think it's really going to start looking like something. So I'm going to be connecting this part here, and then I'm just going to do a simple basting stitch around here so that we can start gathering that together. So for the basting stitch, I'm using the longest length that I have. just gently feeding this through, pulling a little and feeding it through. Okay, so this is what the sleeves are looking like so far. Now we're just going to be making like these cute little caps that close off the stitching here. For the little rectangles that I cut out for the cups of the sleeve, I've just sewn them along the edge, and we're going to be attaching them to the sleeves. Okay, I'm just making sure I'm lining up the seam of the cuff and the sleeve nicely. I've always loved a nice dramatic sleeve. I used to have this top, which eventually I just had to get rid of it because it was so old and so used and so faded, but it used to have big puffy sleeves like this, and then it had this beautiful embroidery on it. I think one day I'd like to get into embroidery. I think embroidered pieces are beautiful. Yes, my angel. The cuff is all attached. Now I'm going to bring it out this way. Now I'm going to turn the sleeve the right way around. I'm basically just going to be folding this over once, like that, and then over again. Obviously I'm going to make it cleaner, but something like that, and then we're going to sew all the way down around the bottom. I have a bad feeling. Oh yes, oh yes. Okay, so this happened again. Alright, I didn't show you guys what happened, but let me grab my first sleeve. So this is what happened with the first sleeve, and I got really irritated, and I was like, well, let me just try again with the second sleeve, but this time I'll be extra cautious. This time I caught it. It's very difficult because the space is so small to work with this. I don't think I'm going to bother to try and unpick this and start again. I think I'm just going to pick up from where I left off. Okay, this did not turn out as clean as I would have liked. I think I might try to do it again. I mean, look what happened there. I think I'm going to have to unpick this and start it again because this is not very nice. After an unbelievable amount of unpicking and redoing and unpicking and redoing, I finally got the cuffs all done. They don't look amazing, but I've got to learn to be easy on myself. This is really just the very beginning of this journey. I know that I'm going to get better. Now what I'm going to be doing is finishing the top of this beautiful dress. I'm going to start by doing a little basting stitch just at the top of the sleeves, so that we can create a bit of like a gather effect at the top. So starting off with this, and then we're going to assemble it all. You can see the sleeves, I mean, they're supposed to be puffy sleeves. They're about that much longer than the actual body piece. So I think what I'll do is start the basting stitch from about here and go all the way around to the opposite end. I am making my length 4 straight stitch. I still am not so sure about the tension. I've got it at 2, but yeah, I'm sure that's fine. Okay, and let us begin. So I'm going to start off by pinning to the bottom, and then once I've pinned all the way up to where the basting stitch starts, I'll pull it through until it meets up with this top seam of the body piece. Look at this cheeky boy demanding attention.
In a world that's gone broke, no peace of mind, so far from fun. Looking for more than just keeping score, so far from fine.
Ooh. That looks nice. I'm so happy with this. I'm so happy with how this is turning out. Oh, look how nice. Oh, okay, so I officially have my very first broken needle. I was just going back on the sleeve to do the zigzag stitch and I just heard a loud noise. And while the needle is not broken, it's like curved like this. So I'm gonna have to watch a YouTube video to figure out how to change the needle. I don't actually even know if I've got a needle to replace this with. I think this is everything I received when I received my machine. So let's just hope that I've got a needle to replace it with. I mean, it looks like it. I don't know, but I'm gonna have to get back to you. Changing my very first needle. This is my very first broken needle, so welcome. I don't know if you guys can see that needle. Can you see that curvature? Okay, so this is what actually came with the machine. 3 needle replacements. We're going to use this little thingy to unscrew this. Okay, I'm going to take this. I have no idea where this is. Oh, there we go. Okay, it just kind of slides in. Okay, and then I'm just tightening the screw over here. I think that's it. I believe I just changed my very first needle. That is very exciting. The top part of this is done and I'm so excited. I'm so happy with how it's turned out. I'm very excited to see the final product, but there we go. Broken needle and all, we made it through. I'm very happy with it so far. I've got one of my rectangles that I cut for the pocket. So I'm just going to freehand that. I'm really excited to be doing these pockets. These will be my first ever pockets actually. So this is the shape that I've ended up with. So I'm just going to do this for the other 3 pieces and then I'm going to be attaching the bottom part of the dress. Okay, so this is where my pockets are going to go. So now I'm going to be heading over to the sewing machine and I'm just going to be attaching the pockets along this line over here, and I'm going to do the same with the other skirt piece. I'm just going to be sewing all the way around here, all the way around here, closing off the pockets a little bit, and then we are joining the top and the bottom, and then we have a dress. So I've come so far only to realize that I absolutely destroyed the bottom part of this dress. Issue number 1, I didn't follow Jess's instructions very well. What I was supposed to do is I was supposed to measure the bottom of this top part of the dress, double it, and that was supposed to be the width of the skirt, and then I was supposed to have 2 pieces. So basically I cut a piece only wide enough to just fit from end to end, so I don't have the ability to like bunch it up to make it like a nice flowy bottom. Issue number 2 is I sewed my pockets on upside down. I pulled them out the machine and I was like, wow, I did such a nice job here. But then when I held my skirt up, I realized, oh, that's not right, because now my pockets are upside down. But you know what? I don't have any additional fabric. Honestly, I don't have any additional patience. It has truthfully been quite a few days since I last touched this poor little baby doll dress. Things have just been a bit chaotic. Yes, that is a brand new fridge you see behind us. Our last one died on us very violently. Still, all that's left to do is just add the skirt to the dress. We're also going to be able to make Ted's bandana that I've been promising him, his little matching bandana. We're going to hop right into it because I've actually got a whole nother project that I'm starting today. So hopefully this is not going to take too long. Okay, we have been to the fabric store since I last filmed for this dress, and I did buy more of this fabric because I really like the top, and I think I'm gonna make the time one day to go in and redo the bottom part of it because I really do like that idea of having a big flowy skirt attached. But for the case of this video, we're just going to be going with this original skirt. See how it turns out. I might even end up liking it, and then I can use the rest of the fabric I purchased for something else. Alright, I know where the center of the front is because that was the two panels that went together. So what I'm going to do is just do a little snip exactly on the back just to mark the center. Okay, I just want to find the exact center so that I can match it up as equally as possible. Tiny little snip here. Okay. Okay, so our two side seams are attached. I realized that I made another little bit of a mess with the skirt. For some reason, I think that I might have cut, no, not I think, I know that I cut the skirt ever so slightly wider than the top of the dress. So I don't know how to deal with this extra fabric now. Like, I don't know. I've only got a little bit extra on each side. If I did a basting stitch, I think it's going to pull it in too much and then it's not going to match up with the top of the dress. But I'm not sure now what to do with this extra fabric. Do I make like a little pleat at the back perhaps? I don't know. Wait. Oh my gosh. Okay, I just pinned the back of the skirt to the front of the skirt, which is obviously not the goal. I'm honestly in a bit of a funny mood today. I've really been struggling with my sleep for the last week. I think over the last week I've just had such disturbed sleep. I don't know if it's just too hot at this time of the year. I mean, we've got the AC running all night long, but this Riviera Maya heat is something else. Oh, and our fridge actually. One night we woke up to the fridge literally screaming at us. Alright, so we've just got this random little flap over here, and this is kind of the center. So what I think I'm going to do is fold the center over and just kind of make a pleat right in the center of the back. And I assume that's going to have to happen in the front as well. I don't know. Honestly, this dress took quite a lot longer to make than anticipated, but I think a lot of that came in with the fact that you don't have, like as a beginner, there's no pattern. I think a lot of that was me having to measure and also figure out how to put the stuff together. This is looking just as boxy as what I was expecting. Okay, I'm not gonna lie and say that I love this. I really, this as it is, don't love, not flattering, but it is not the fault of the pattern maker, it is my misinterpretation. But anyways, for the sake of finishing what we started, I'm just going to go ahead and put my little hem in. Maybe if it's shorter, it might be a little bit more flattering on my body type. But yeah, this was a bit of a fail, unfortunately. Okie dokie. So I made this dress I'm going to get into this in another vlog because I'm actually going to fix it. I really like the skirt part of it, but the top parts I don't love. So I'm going to be making a whole video on fixing this, but my husband is busy cooking behind us here. I'm just basically using this dress as a reference point for how long I want this green dress to be, because I really like the length of the blue dress. Okay, so I'm just going to mark roughly. I'm honestly not taking this too seriously because I've already made up my mind. I'm going to, once I've completed this, model it for you guys, I'm going to, in my free time, remove it, do this thing all over again with my new fabric that I've bought, and hopefully it's finished in time to pop into this video so I can show you, because I swear if I do it right, it's going to actually be wearable. As it stands right now, I will not be using it, and I don't want it to go to waste. I put so much effort and love into it, you know? We've actually just got jungle behind us, and there's these little critters called quappies, and they often come to our back wall. I think I hear them. Usually there's like a whole lot that come at one time. The second we open the door, they scatter, but this guy is particularly confident. Okay, we are on the final part, and that is sewing in our hem. I still don't know what the tension knob is for, so if you can tell me in the comments, I'd really appreciate that.
The sunlight touch your skin, feel the mountains closing, over valley and over trees covered.
Okay, so the hem is in. It didn't do much. I'm really sad about the bottom, and I feel like I can't leave this video on a disappointing note because I'm quite disappointed. I love the top. The top is totally my vibe. Love the sleeves, love the puffiness, love the v-neck. I think I've still got a few hours left in the day. I think I'm just going to go ahead and try and redo this bottom. And I'll probably just use this scrap fabric to make Ted's bandana, which just works out perfectly. So yeah, actually, you know what I think that this dress looks like right now? I don't know if you guys know the Cholera Ghosts from Ghosts. If it was just a bit longer, don't you feel like I'm a little bit like Nancy right now?
Nancy from the Cholera Pit.
I think I'm going to try something here. Instead of wasting more fabric and, oh my bumps, I want to finish my dress. I want to finish my dress and your bandana. So as I was saying, instead of wasting more fabric, I'm just going to cut the pockets right off. I know I'm going to lose a bit of the pocket size, but I mean, it's already a huge pocket. And I'm just going to attach it straight to this new skirt. Okay, so I did not actually finish this dress last night. I feel like God was like, go to sleep, Simone, you're in a bad mood, you are tired. Because all of my camera batteries were dead, which I never let the camera batteries all die, anyways. Now I've attached them to the new skirt pieces, which you can already tell are way longer than the original ones. Before we actually head to the sewing machine, I'm going to use the scrap fabric from the old skirt to trace out Ted's little bandana. This is the only one that he has. This is from our Canadian neighbor Steve. Yeah, that should be okay.
Last thing I'll say, some people
Yeah. Okay, so this is the raw bandana. I'm seeing now that it's not exactly straight, but once it's on him, it's fine. It will be draping, no one will notice. A cool little trick that I picked up from the internet, when you're sewing a straight line and then you get to an adjacent line, is that right? Adjacent? I think so. Let's just go with it. I used to think that you just had to like be really fast with your hands, but I'm about to get to the pocket, which is like that. So I need to try and sew a nice sharp corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew up to the end of the straight line. At the point that I want to turn is I want to stop sewing when the needle is in the fabric. Then I lift up the presser foot, maneuver my fabric around, and then I carry on stitching. So if you were wondering, that's how I do that. Okay, all right, so our skirt is together. This time around, because I've got a lot of excess fabric, I can actually now do my basting stitch so I can, you know, create the ruffles. So I'm going to do that and I'll get back to you guys with the basting stitch. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm finding these little end threads. I'm going to just start pulling one gently. I love to say gently because the first time I tried to do basting stitches, I ripped them so many times, and each time you rip them, you have to pull all the seams out and start again. So just be very gentle. This is the ruffle effect that the basting stitch achieves, which is lovely. I've just made sure to pull my ruffles through so that they're all like kind of even. We don't want any parts of the skirt that are like super ruffled and then another part that's flat. Ted's already wearing his bandana, but he's busy having dinner now, so we're not going to disrupt him. So I got the skirt on last night and then I tried the dress on and I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to bother putting the hem in. I'm going to explain why. This is the dress, almost 100% complete, just missing the hem. I don't know about you. Personally, I'm not going to wear this. It is way too baggy for my body type. I just really don't feel like it is doing me any favors whatsoever. However, I'm really, really proud of myself. Like, there were some techniques that I learned in this. I did my very first pockets. I feel like it is a really clean end product. I'm really proud of the final product. But something that I did learn from this project is, with my body type, I shouldn't be making such baggy things because it just doesn't do me any favors. It's not even remotely flattering. So I'm going to hang on to this dress for my one-day baby belly. I think as a maternity dress, this could be really cute. Hence why I'm leaving the hem unfinished, because yeah, your belly would make it shorter. It's okay. I might try this again. I really do like the concept of it, but I think where it really goes wrong, at least for me, is the arm piece. You see the arm piece here? Next time, honestly, I would only have the arm piece going to there. So that would take off that much on either side. And I think in that case, this could really be a very cute, flattering dress. I need to show you Ted's bandana, actually. He's been wearing it since last night. He looks really, really cute. Are you so beautiful in your little bandana? Yes, thank you for modeling for us. Is it too far? Oh, yes. So even though we didn't end up with a completely usable final product, I'm still really proud of it. I learned how to make my very first pockets. The end result is actually very clean. Even without a serger, if you see the inside of this dress, it's pretty clean, which I'm really proud of. As you may not know, or you might, this is a brand new channel. Literally, this is like the second vlog. So I'm not exactly sure where we're headed. And that's why I'd really love to hear from you guys. If you guys have got any suggestions on patterns that you'd like to see me make, please, I am literally all ears, so open to your suggestions. And if you made it this far, I know it was a real journey. I really appreciate you sticking around for so long. Let me know in the comments with a secret emoji. Let's do the little green dress. Leave the little green dress to let me know that you watched this far. Subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Hasta luego.